Hello, and welcome to the Woo Woo Gypsy podcast. I'm Taylor, your host. Today we will be going over a nonfiction book by Gary Chapman and Ross Campbell, The 5 Love Languages of Children. So the 5 love languages of children is the same as the 5 love languages for everybody else, but this book specifically focused on children. And since I have 2 of those, I wanted to do this book. He does have the regular, the 5 love languages. I think it's just called that. I've read it before. I can't remember. But it's the main book. And then he's got like the spin-off versions of like children, teens, I think couples, possibly. Sorry, I just sniffled. I have a cold, but I told myself I needed to do this and not take a week off. I need to start doing these in bulk, to be honest. Okay, anyways. So it's the same 5 love languages that you already know and are aware of, which are acts of service, physical touch, words of affirmation, quality time, and gifts. Again, these are universal for children and adults. This one was just more specifically geared towards children. And adults may be easier to pin down their love language. Children, not so much, because a child's love language can change from time to time. And as I was reading this, I was almost wondering as well if animals have a love language. Although I feel like they would all be quality time except for cats, maybe like quality time and physical touch. Or honestly, even like gifts, because dogs love getting new toys and so do cats. Although cats usually think a box is a new toy. But yeah, it had me thinking about animals too. I'm like, I'd love to read a book about like animals' love language. Okay, so some examples of things you could do for your child's love language. If they are an acts of service child, this could be making sure that their favorite outfit is washed and ready for school on Monday. Maybe you have it laid out for them. You could cook them breakfast and bring it to them in bed. Both of these would ensure a good start to the day for your child, especially if it's the day of like a test that they're anxious for maybe, or giving a presentation. I don't know about you, but I still remember the fear and anxiety behind those fucking presentations in class, especially in high school, when you're just going through it anyways as a teenager. The next love language, physical touch, could be giving them hugs or cheek kisses before sending them off to play with friends or to spend the night at grandma's. I do this with my son all the time just because whenever he leaves the house for any reason, physical touch is my love language, and he loves getting hugs and stuff. So, and luckily he's not at the age yet where he gets embarrassed by it. I'm hoping he never reaches that, but we'll see. Another physical touch could be playing soccer with your child. Often I find myself playing with my son and we like run into each other or jokingly give each other a light push when we're trying to steal the ball from one another. So again, that's like physical touch. Words of affirmation. When they come home from school with tough homework, remind them like how smart they are, how they can overcome tough homework because they've done so in the past, and how they can and will do it again. A favorite of mine to do with words of affirmation is leaving little notes for my kiddo in his lunchbox so that even during the school day, he can feel my love even though he's away from me. What's even funner with adding a note to his lunchbox is that like you can personalize it, or you can make it fun. So it's Valentine's Day. Maybe paint something with a heart on it, or do a drawing with a heart on it, or, something geared towards Valentine's Day where it's a little bit extra special, a little something different. or like St. Patty's Day is coming up, maybe do your best at drawing a 4-leaf clover or something, or wishing you all the luck on the rest of your day today, something like that. I will be doing a YouTube video on just a cute, tiny, easy little craft, which is what this is, like painting a book page and making it themed towards the holiday. I wanted to do it for Valentine's Day, but, I am a busy AF mom, so I didn't get to. All right, on to gifts. I take my dog for a walk multiple times a day. Usually it's been cold, so that's been really not happening because it's been fucking freezing. Anyways, but when I do, I always offer for my son to join me, and sometimes he opts out. So instead, I bring him a flower or a cool rock or something I found on my walk to remind him that even if he didn't feel like going this time, I was still thinking of him all the while. Another gift I like to do, my son loves cake pops. So anytime I stop at Target, he knows it's his little treat to get one. It's not every time that we go, but here and there, I try to do it. And I try to say it before he asks, because he is very quick to ask for a cake pop because he loves them. But with gift giving, with gift giving, be careful because it needs to truly be a gift. Hello, Jim. I hope you guys heard that. My cat is in here with me, apparently. It needs to truly be a gift. So I'm stating this with the example because he doesn't get a cake pop only if he's good, quote unquote, in the store. He receives this regardless, and it's usually as soon as we enter the store, so he doesn't have to earn it in any way. It is a true gift. Sorry, I forgot to silence my phone. My phone never gets notifications, and then, of course, all of a sudden, it's like, when I forget to silence it. Okay, anyways. So just make sure that it's truly a gift that they're not earning. It's not something they have to be, like, earning to get. Lastly, quality time. So back to the walking my dog example. Occasionally, my son will go along with me, and usually for our nightly walks, he always does. He even told me one time how much he loved our nightly walks because we get to just talk together. And I'm not 100% sure of his love language, but I believe this one is it because it was like a real tear-jerker moment for me when he told me that. I'm like almost in tears now thinking of it because it was just so pure and so sweet. And he was just like, Mommy, I just love going on our walks because we get to talk. He doesn't like it so much now with it being so fucking cold out. He hates the cold, so he's begrudgingly gone with me when we've gone and been like, okay, can we go back? Can we go back? Can we go? Are we done? Are we taking a short walk? Are we turning here? All right. Some other examples could be playing a board game together, cooking together. Jim, oh my God, my cat is climbing my closet. Okay, yeah, cooking together, watching a movie together, just doing something together that requires a little bit of like back and forth, a little bit of banter or whatever. It's something that you're not just sitting there. Like quality time, I feel like you need to be actually doing something, not just sitting and doing nothing. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Whatever. All right, moving on. You get it. And remember with all of these that you should follow your child's lead, not forcing them to spend time with you or getting them a gift that you like instead of them. I've had that happen in my life. So get something that they like. Don't do it because it's something you like and you hope that they like it, or you think that they will, or you want to try to get them to like it. Or like I'm using like a lot in this. Or if your child hates holding your hand, maybe try some other physical touch. Maybe physical touch just isn't their jam either, and that's okay. All right, so let's get into the differences between good versus bad. So like a bad act of service versus a good act, etc. Keep in mind the child's age always and what's appropriate for them to do. You wouldn't make a 3-year-old make his own lunch, so that's not gonna count as an act of service. That would be like a bad act of service because you need to do that for them anyways. You're their provider, so always keep that in mind. Again, just reiterating, keep in mind what's appropriate for the age and what is a necessity for a younger child might be different for an older child. And you don't want to overstep and continuously do an act of service for a child every day that is perfectly capable of something. An example could be making one's bed, maybe on an important school day or particularly rough morning. You could do this for your teen or on occasion. However, once your child knows how to perform this task, fade back and allow them to have that independence and responsibility, because it's a good self-esteem boost for them to do things on their own and know that they can complete a task and it be okay. And this could be where your words of affirmation could kick in. Since you didn't make the bed and they did, maybe comment on how amazing it looks. A side note here, never critique when a child is learning a new skill and maybe they haven't perfected it in your eyes. This is a problem that I have. I like things to be exactly how they should be. And so that's one of the things that I would do. Like, so maybe one of the corners of the blanket isn't exactly lined up the way you would do it. Do not fix it, especially not in front of the child. And I know, again, it's hard for some of us to do that, especially me, when we feel like things need to be very precise and specific. But I promise you need to leave it. It's going to hurt their self-esteem. And this is actually something that I learned when I was working as an RBT with children with autism. If they were learning how to put on their own shoes or put their pants on or something like that after using the restroom, it's very important for them to feel confident that they can do something. Let them get that confidence, and then work your way into showing them how to do something the correct way. Because, you don't want to break that child's self-esteem. And maybe the next morning you help them, but don't pick apart and say, oh, well, you didn't do this corner yesterday, so I'm going to show you how to do it. Just try to make it fun and act maybe as if you're struggling to pull the corner of the blanket up to the corner of the bed. This will remind them to do it without pointing it out. If they didn't do it last time, it's a little more subtle and it's fun. Kids like fun. Obviously, if it's your teenager, they might like the theatrics a bit, but again, age appropriateness. Okay, so the important part, discovering your child's love language. As I previously stated, children's love language can change over time, even month to month, so try to go with the flow of their needs. I was not aware that children's love language could change. I thought, it was, maybe once you hit that point in life when you're conscious, that everybody says, where you're just playing one day and then all of a sudden, boom, you're conscious. And I'm maybe that's when you get it. But apparently it can change month to month. And regardless, you should always give your child all 5 of the love languages too. Again, unless there's some people, children, even animals that just really don't like to be touched. So I feel like that's the one that could be an exception. But unless they give you that sign to not touch them and that they're not okay with it, then, just do small little acts. Here in the book is where they state ways to determine your child's love language. Number 1, observe how the child expresses their love to you. This is just in general how you figure out what people like. Usually if somebody does something to you or acts a certain way to you, they want that acted back. How they express their love to others, like their friends, family members, mom, dad, brother, sister, etc. Listen to what they request most often. What does the child complain most frequently about? Okay, so just take some of that into account. And you can start also by offering them two options that I've done this with my child to figure out and try to pin down what his love language is, which I'm already kind of knew, and this solidified it for me. So an example would be, would they like to pick out new shoes for school, or would they like to cook dinner together? So a gift versus quality time. And maybe, the new shoes aren't like at the beginning of the school year when everybody's getting their new clothes and new shoes for the new year, blah, blah, blah. But again, make sure that that is a true gift. So maybe it's just a new pair of shoes out of the blue versus cooking dinner together. And then record your child's answers for a few weeks. And, maybe make it easy on yourself. Maybe put a G if they chose a gift, or a PT for physical touch, etc., to make it easier, because I know sometimes it's hard to track things. But yeah, and see if they lean more towards one or the other. And then if this doesn't help identify their personal language, then you can try what they call the 15-week experiment. So in that, you choose one of the 5 love languages, focus on it for 2 weeks at a time, and then retract a little of said love language to gauge your child's reaction. After the first 2 weeks, figure out, are they annoyed with you? How are they feeling? After switching off for a week, move on to the next love language, and so on, and see if your child mentions anything, and this may help you to figure some things out. Again, make sure that you are giving them all 5 of the love languages and you're not starving them of any of them, but maybe, try to really focus on one. Like if it's quality time, try to, okay, we're cooking dinner tonight together. Okay, we're going to make a painting together. We're going to do a board game. And try to do things that the child likes too. Don't just, choose random ass things. Okay, now let's get into punishment regarding love languages. This is going to be the last thing we touch upon. So, unbeknownst to me, I wanted to put this out here. I have it in bold in my notes. Unbeknownst to me, there is a period in which children around the age of 2 start repeating no often, and it's an important milestone in their development, but they may say no and then follow through with the request previously given. I was not aware of that. I've been around tons of children, and I never realized that. So that was one of the things I wanted to make sure I threw in here with when you're punishing according to your child's love language. So if their love language is words of affirmation, you don't want to withhold speaking from a child. I don't think that that's appropriate really to do anyways, but again, keep in mind. Or don't take away a special gift that you got your child if their love language is receiving gifts, because it's really going to hurt them. It's going to scar them. It's going to give them, just not good feelings on the inside. And a key in giving discipline is to try to remember to show love both before and after the punishment. So an example would be my son has been told repeatedly he cannot kick his soccer ball super hard at the fence because it's our neighbor's, it's brand new, and it's not the kind of fence that can take huge hits. It's like the lattice fencing or whatever. And so it's easy to break. However, he does it anyways, and he has soccer nets, so he doesn't need to be doing this. And so maybe he does it one day and it breaks. I would use his love language, and let's say it's words of affirmation. Tell him how great of a soccer player he is, that he's really strong, he kicked the ball so hard, etc. And then, sprinkle in the discipline And then after giving him the discipline, like, hey, I'm sorry, bud, but we're going to have to XYZ. And then once I give him that, I know this is something you'll only do once because you're a fantastic listener and you care about taking kindness to other people's things. So, again, try to break discipline down that way. If it's kind of tough in the moment, and so if you need to, maybe practice it. If you're really trying hard to be a better parent and to break cycles, which I am, maybe give yourself some time for a few days, a week, or every now and then, just challenge yourself. Just sit down, think of their love language, think of the discipline, make up whatever scenario or a past scenario that maybe you want to redo because you feel like you didn't do it justice and you were hurtful to your child. Replay that scenario for yourself. What would you do differently? Give that love language, that discipline, and then love language again. All right, that is all for me today, and I hope you have a fantastic Valentine's Day, a great rest of your day, rest of your week, rest of your night, rest of your weekend, week, whatever, month, year, whatever have you. All right, happy Valentine's Day, sending you all the love and light. Bye. I just want to reiterate again, so keep in mind the appropriate age. Okay, here in the book, they state, baby,